Oh, God.
What's up, homie? I'm Tony. If you want to order signs for your franchise stores, make sure you buy from a responsible sign company. LC Sign is for...
You and your daughter both divorced this...
What the fuck? Anyways...
What the fuck?
What's your type? 6 foot.
Fuck.
What's your...
What the fuck?
Your daughter both divorced this...
What the fuck? Anyways...
What the fuck?
What's your type? 6 foot, money, Mexican, well-mannered.
Anyways, here's how to tell if your sign is cheap.
It takes the hat off.
Anyway...
My deepest secret is that I'm like 100% gay.
No way! You kidding, right?
I want to talk to the kids.
Nope. Anyways, if you want to order if someone calls you fat, just ignore them. You're bigger than that.
Yeah, bad company's making bank. I know, this is so funny. And my favorite part about it is how he's never really, like, mean about it. He's just like, yeah, okay, that's silly. Now, anyway, let's go back to what matters.
You walk into your new classroom to meet your teacher, and you see me. What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
I'm homeschooling.
Whatever.
Tony can't be stopped, guys. Tony cannot be stopped. I've been hearing so much about this game.
This is success with SEMrush. It's getting new customers online while spending less and improve.
We got a real situation going on here.
They don't like tourists in here, so try to blend in.
You mean blend in? I'm 2 feet taller than everybody in here. Assassin's Creed Japan is coming out, and as much as I hate to say it, this looks great. It's a perfect compromise between old and new, stealth and action, and it's amazing that they already released it 5 years ago. But now there's another Assassin's Creed game, one that I thought was going to be doomed, but it turns out it's got a lot of style. The combat feels fluid, the takedowns are nice, the budgets are large, you get to play as the legendary samurai Kanye Far East, and it's amazing that that game came out 1 year ago. Rush Hour 4 is coming out, and there isn't a soul that's not busting you
Rush Hour 4?
sauce balls right now. All because they had to put the motherfucking coal train into a game about assassins. I know a lot of people are worried that he's not going to be a great assassin, but trust me, he's such a good assassin that you can't even find him in the marketing material. You know,
kind of funny. That's the type of stuff that takes a script.
Wow.
Britley, how's that working out for you?
Jesus. Yep.
Lawn. Motherfucker, can I use dual hidden blades in combat? She automatically takes their shoes off when she goes inside. See, we're not racist, guys. Do I look like Quentin Tarantino?
English, motherfucker! Do you speak it?
Yes. Uh-oh.
Then you know what I'm saying.
Let's get this started by laughing at Ubisoft's desperation.
Yo, thanks for the like, guys.
Gotten so bad that you got a honeypot people now? God damn, one bad year and you guys turned into the FBI. Hey, remember when you guys removed that one expansion from the season pass so you could charge $40 for it?
Did that happen? I didn't play Valhalla because I was like, I'm gonna just play WoW. Like, did that really, that happened? Did he just knock the guy's head off?
Fuck it, have a dynasty.
He did! Sure.
People are giving this game so much shit. And I've talked to people about this too. I've talked to people about, like, they have this guy, and my brother lived in Japan for 2 years. And so he actually knew who this guy was. He's actually pretty well known. This black guy that they chose to have be the assassin in this new game. But he said he still doesn't think it's correct that they chose him because he didn't do any, like, fighting or anything like that. Or he doesn't represent Japanese culture. But my brother, who's lived in Japan, knew who this guy was. This black guy that they chose. But he said it's pretty incorrect to choose him as like their ninja or whatever.
You haven't figured it out? It's a nice... You haven't figured it out? It's an ice wall yet?
Don't you take that patronizing tone with me, boy. You're wearing a hat that says ice wall. I wish I had the balls to walk around with a sign on my head that says I never learned how to read.
When the Navy went to Antarctica and flying a helicopter and panning, they never get to the end because it's just an ice wall.
Whoa, okay, pause. Antarctica's really big, about the size of one Antarctica. But you seem to have gotten the size of Antarctica confused with the size of Rhode Island. Secondly, let's critical think for a second, if you can do that. By some lapse of judgment on my end, I decided to give you a helicopter, and I told you to fly it around Antarctica. Firstly, you wouldn't make it. It's too big, you'd run out of fuel, you'd crash into the ocean. For any confusion, see Rhode Island. Before you crashed into the ocean, if you were flying around Antarctica in a big counterclockwise circle, do you know what you would see out of the left window of your helicopter the entire time? A giant wall of ice. You wanna know why? Because that's what it looks like when you're looking at the side of a giant fucking circle. I've been sailing along this coast for 10 months. I think it's an infinite wall of jungle. The sheep keep telling me that I'm just sailing around Hawaii.
You haven't figured it out?
I think I'm just jealous of that guy. Just like his stuff seems like so basic, you know? It's just like his stuff seems so basic, but he's so popular, and I'm just like, Let's see, what else? What else is on today's hit list? This dude, Rainbow or whatever.
Coco. Wait, Coco? Is this Christmas Island? Or it's not Coco's though. Coco's wouldn't. I mean, I have to go Coco's. But I didn't know this has coverage. Wait, no, I'm doing Christmas Island on this. I don't think this is Coco's. I think this is Christmas Island. Water North. If I just switched away. Okay. That, they almost baited me with that. These are the,
Yeah. I'm sure they were trying to bait you.
That one pyramid, and it's like over here.
Yeah, this one he's just trolling.
Isn't it? It's like by the bridge in Memphis. You can see it when you cross the board. Yeah, this one. It's this pyramid. It's north of us. Yeah, this makes sense. I couldn't. Round two.
Yeah, that one he was just trolling
Coco.
you guys. Bernie gets a surprise call during a hearing.
Can I have your word right now that you will work with me to make sure that Solar for All program is rapidly and effectively implemented all over the country?
Senator, it is my obligation on this and every other law enacted by Congress that I will follow my obligations under the law. And when it comes to spending money, it is important that I have the ability to sit before you and account for every dollar that's being spent by the EPA. So I know that this is an important priority of you and solar power.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Almost saved by the bell. That was the fossil fuel industry.
I look forward to working with you on the center.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can I have your word right?
Dude, Bernie spits the words out though, even for like him looking like at this point like a knob coming off of a tree that's like discolored. He like spits out the words clearly. Oh great, what is this? It's gotta be another minute man.
Do you guys believe that this sun is the real sun that we grew up with? This is a fake fucking sun.
Ooh, that's a good one. I can tell you with 1,000% confidence that this person is just fucking with us for internet clout, and it's working because they have 1.2 million followers. But this is just so hilarious that I can't not talk about it.
That's cool. That's weird, right? A second sun, one sun right behind the other one. Yeah.
You want to know how to make that second sun disappear? You open the window that you are shooting through. This is what happens when you film the sun through a pane of glass. Fuck no, you have got to be fucking with me.
I figured out how to adjust the brightness on my phone camera. The sun must not be real.
You can even see each swipe they make as they change the exposure.
I don't even know what to say here.
Either, honestly. I've watched this video like 3 times now, and all I've taken away from it is a splitting migraine. I cannot believe that this is my job. Follow me, please.
Yeah. I get really jealous sometimes of people that I just feel like, you know what? All he's doing is just like talking, and it's like, oh geez, people love him. It's like all you have to have in the world is a lovable personality. Which, what, you know what I mean? It's whatever. What else we got going on? The plane crash.
We spoke with Russian figure skater Katya Gordieva, who was friends with two of the Russian figure skating coaches who were killed.
I could not process it right away. Like it's almost like world stopped and like slow motion started. Like you don't, you know, you hear it, but you don't want to hear it. It's something like this, and like processing very slow.
You guys know I was in a plane crash, right? In like 2008. I think it's like a 50% survival rate or something.
Hi, I'm Brad Johnson, the Senior Director of Design here at Kizik, and I'm here to talk to you about hands-free tech.
The question of what existed before the Big Bang has puzzled scientists for decades. With advancements in cosmology, some answers are starting to emerge, and they are as unsettling as they are fascinating. Renowned physicist Brian Cox has shed light on this mystery, revealing a scenario that challenges our understanding of the cosmos. According to Cox, what existed before the Big Bang was not a void of absolute nothingness, but rather something profoundly strange and deeply terrifying. How our universe was born from nothing.
Okay, cool. Thanks for telling us. Thanks for telling us.
Scientists in China just set a new fusion world record with their artificial sun. China's experimental advanced superconducting tokamak maintained a fusion plasma for a record-breaking 1,066 seconds, while also reaching temperatures of up to 100 million degrees Celsius, about 10 times hotter than the center of the sun. On Earth, we don't have the extreme pressures to drive particles together to achieve fusion. Instead, we make up for it by using temperatures that are even hotter to get particles moving fast enough to overcome the repulsive force between them. Tokamaks, like yeast, use magnetic fields to levitate the plasma in the center of the reactor. Building a system that can keep the magnetic field perfectly balanced and the plasma stable while resisting these incredible temperatures is kind of hard to do. So, more than doubling the plasma lifetime in less than a year is exciting progress for all fusion lovers worldwide. Finally giving Taylor Swift a break from being the shining light in all of our lives, and allowing us to finally bottle a star, probably for less than the price of a nearest tour ticket. If you like science and tech breakthroughs, follow for more.
Follow for more.
They wanted to believe that Kurt Cobain would roll out of bed, take some drugs, and write a f***ing classic. Kurt Cobain, as a lyricist, as a songwriter, as a visionary, was a f***ing assassin. He was great at what he did, and it's a shame he didn't do more of it, because he was f***ing great at what he did. And he let people believe that he was the guy who was like, oh, yeah, how many nights do you think there, long before Nirvana, that he sat in a f***ing basement trying to figure out, why does this chord go with this chord? And listen to Nirvana's early demos, listen to Nirvana's first album, listen to the second album. His voice is changing. It's not just changing physically. He's finding the character of Kurt Cobain.
Yeah.
I honestly am too fragile a person to have social media. I can't. My ego is too fragile.
Really?
Yeah. I have so much.
Probably smart though.
My brain is too fragile. I'm like a delicate flower. I can only.
Like she doesn't have makeup on in this.
I have enough anxiety. That would give me so much anxiety. I can't. I had Instagram once for 3 days, and when I started realizing that I'd spent 20 minutes looking at somebody's Instagram page who who was like worked for a friend of mine who had I'm like now know you have a
talk about like ear piercings. And you live how many ear piercings she has?
Burbank. I was like, what am I just wasted 17 minutes of time. I now feel like I should move to California, get this specific dog, and changed my life in all these ways. I felt so bad, like I was missing out on this random person's life. I can't do this. I'm too fragile. I have so much anxiety about other things. I can't. I honestly am too fragile a person to have social media.
Me, I'm like on social media all day, but I feel like the day is like never ending. It never ends. Scrooge McDuck shows the difference between 100K and $1 billion.
Now, how much is in this hat?
Gee, $1 billion? Or more than that.
See what I mean? They were nowhere near. There's only 100,000 here.
$1 billion stacked up right without an accident is about 800 times the height of the Washington Monument. $1 billion on the ground, all stretched out and uncurled, would extend about 4 times around the circumference of the world.
Pick one up each second, day and night without a break. In 32 years, you'd have them all. But oh, your back would ache.
Yeah.
$1 billion sure is a lot.
$1 billion is so much. Like, it's a ridiculous amount.
Hardcore mode is more realistic, recommended for players who are familiar with the essentials of combat and survival in the world of Kingdom Come Deliverance. Oh. That was pretty hardcore. Hardcore mode is more...
He just dies instantly.
This went viral. This was a video of a kid. He's in his house streaming. He was streaming this online. He started a coin and then pumped it.
Look at this kid.
He made like 50 grand while it happened.
He's pumping and dumping it in front of everybody.
He starts freaking out here as he watches it go up. He's watching it go up. Now.
Wait, what?
He just recognized.
How old is this kid?
I think 13.
Wait, what?
Maybe 15.
Wait, I'm so confused.
What? Oh, yo, it's nuked. Why is it nuked?
There's people watching this too. That's the other voices you're hearing.
Oh, holy.
He just dumped it. Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Yo.
So this went viral. This was a video of a kid.
You guys know what that is? Pumping and dumping was just like pulling the rug out from beneath everybody's feet or whatever. Just sell it all immediately.
We just found out how to build a pyramid.
I like this guy. He's also a smartass. But unfortunately, he's one of the people who's going to try and convince you that you couldn't build the pyramids with modern technology and that the ancient Egyptians had far more advanced and superior tech.
Yeah.
Yeah, his primary argument is pretty much just a compilation of OSHA violations. This argument is stupid, and he literally debunks it himself in the next, 2 seconds.
Or around 80 tons each, lifted over 50 meters off the ground. Not sure how they did that.
Well, I'll give you a hint. Just look at the picture right behind you. The ancient Egyptians did not lift the stones for the pyramid. They dragged them. Do you really think that people without modern technology would have looked for a way to pick the stone up off the ground and lift it? I encourage you to Google the phrase, work smarter, not harder. It takes way less people to drag it up a ramp than it does to lift it physically off the ground and move it over. And that's why this is a bad faith argument, because they're working harder, not smarter. What you do is tie 3 of these trucks to that stone and drag it in the course of an afternoon.
We just found out how to build a pyramid.
My thing with this guy is just he's what he's saying I believe, but it's just his attitude. He's such a hard science guy that's just he has no chance of opening up to anything spiritual or anything like that at all. He's just too much hard science guy for me.
I'm going Mexico on this. I think it might be Southern Hemisphere, but stop defending me. This is probably the most fun one for me to play in this map. But like when things like that Mexico guess happen, it's not skill. Maybe I get lucky more than like the average person or something, or like there's, please Lord, no. No, it's not. It's not. Okay, no, this is not Mexico. This is South Africa, Pretoria.
The guy, I guess he like took an FBI test too. Like, watch, we can look it up. Rainbolt took an FBI test. It's because you can like do that to like, he took a CIA test. Yo, thank you for the likes, guys. Good morning. As you can see, I literally just rolled out of bed, you know? I just rolled out of bed and I'm here. Thanks.
Took a CIA test. Granted, it was for kids. It was pretty easy. So I decided after like a year of really learning, what if I took an actual test to assess my skills? A hacker test. Basically, this website, tryhackme.com, has different games and quizzes and puzzles made mainly from different people throughout the OSINT community. So I found this room online that will basically just put my skills to the test. Let's see how I do.
All names, emails, social handles, and more shown in this video are not real and are only for the purpose of the puzzle.
Alright, so this is a test. It looks like it's like 6 tasks here, and honestly, I'm pretty confident, or I'm like 75% confident I'll be able to finish it without any hints, because I keep in touch with like the community, the OSINT community. I read a lot of articles from like Bellingcat and like different threads and articles on Twitter, so I'm pretty confident I'll be able to do it. You don't know until you try. And if I get caught up, I get caught up, but let's just do it. Join this room. It says it's a room designed to test a wide variety of OSINT techniques with a bit of research. Most beginner OSINT practitioners should be able to complete these challenges. I would consider myself a beginner, honestly, but we'll see. Do not attempt any active techniques such as 100. Okay, it looks like binary. We're looking for what username does attacker go by? Do they want me to username does attacker go by? Oh, here it is. His name is Sakura Snow Angel Aiko. You can see from his desktop there. He saved it to his desktop as pwned-letter.png. Okay, that's answer 1. My answer is correct. Okay, so far so good. That's pretty basic.
Yeah, that was. All I did is like view the like assets or whatever. We just did like complex view on the.
Thank you. Ooh, okay, we have everything here. Okay. What is the URL for the location where the attacker saved their Wi-Fi and SSID's passwords? Okay, so luckily the image it provided in the hint has the thing here, so I'm just going to use this to copy it. Hopefully this works.
I thought he was going to be doing stuff like recognizing where people were and stuff like that.
Rainbolt is not beating the CIA accusations.
Okay, it's literally just a massive blur. But like I unironically think it's like the gradient of Senegal. Like,
due to Rainbolt's alarming ability to geolocate pretty well any position in the world, some have suspected that he's either cheating or legitimately working for the CIA.
One second. Alright. Let's watch this again.
Rainbolt is not beating the CIA accusations.
Okay, it's literally just a massive blur. But like I unironically think it's like the gradient of Senegal. Like,
Due to Rainbolt's alarming ability to geolocate pretty well any position in the world, some have suspected that he's either cheating or legitimately working for the CIA. And honestly, I get it. Even your dinner isn't safe with this guy.
I don't think you can find this restaurant I'm at. Challenge accepted. This thing where the light is sitting in, so when we're looking for the table, that's gonna be good. This is like a capital M that's like really bold. In the mixing room. Oh, look at that.
Now, despite all the accusations and Trevor's inability to stop doing CIA quizzes, he doesn't actually think the agency would want him because he's not actually good enough.
The CIA has many people that are much better than me doing their job a lot better than I ever would.
Yeah, sure, buddy. That's exactly what someone in the CIA would
Yeah.
want us to do.
That's exactly what they would say, man. This one's controversial.
COVID vaccine successful in saving millions of lives?
I don't know. We don't have a good surveillance system, unfortunately.
We don't know?
I don't think anybody can say that. If you show me science that says
But
that.
you know, Bob, you say if I show you, you're applying for the job. I mean, clearly, you should know this. And that is, the scientific community has established that COVID vaccines save millions of lives, and you're casting doubt. That is really problematic. COVID vaccine successful in saving.
Where's Joe Rogan? Where's Joe Rogan at on that one?
Tarantino can write a movie about slavery where actually him and Jamie, they got the idea from me. The idea for Django, I pitched to Jamie Foxx and Quentin Tarantino as the video for Gold Digger. And then Tarantino turned it into a film.
Okay, well, there's not truth to the idea that Kanye West came up with the idea of Django. I'd had the idea for Django for a while before I ever met Kanye. He wanted to do a giant movie version of College Dropout, the way he did the album. Me and Kanye, we used it as an excuse to meet each other. He did have an idea for a video, and I do think it was for the Gold Digger video, that he would be a slave. And the whole thing was the slave narrative where he's a slave and he's singing Gold Digger. It was very funny. It was meant to be ironic, all right, with him in this like slave rag outfit, all right, doing everything. And then that was also part of the pushback on it. And I wish he had done it. It sounded really cool. Anyway, that's what he's referring to.
Tarantino can write a...
Huh.
Why did Tolkien hate Dune? The author of Lord of the Rings read Frank Herbert's Dune and then wrote a letter saying that he disliked it with intensity. Lord of the Rings is a myth that's grounded in a clear moral universe, good versus evil. But Dune presents a more ambiguous moral landscape where the complexities of politics and ecology really challenge the conventional ideas about heroism. Tolkien fought in World War I, but Herbert was in World War II, which really disrupted media after totalitarian governments used traditional art to hype people up to commit major atrocities. Like Beethoven was played at Nazi pep rallies. So that really gave artists some incentive to think maybe there's some different ways we can paint and write stories. So even today, Lord of the Rings has been appropriated by all these extremist groups who map themselves as the good guys, whereas Dune, although it's an enlightening story, can't really be used as a straightforward rallying cry. So which myth serves us better? Why did Tolkien...
It's kind of interesting, to say the least. Little interesting. Might have to send that one to my brother.
Some of you don't understand how big this game is. All of these little segments of the map we can travel to, and they are all individual segments with huge amounts of adventure within them. You see this little island just here, called Bethany? That island is bigger than all of Skyrim, the game. If you overlaid the maps of these games, all of Skyrim would fit on that. The world of Daggerfall is just slightly smaller than Great Britain. You can choose to manually travel to places. Let me show you what manually traveling to a place looks like. Let's travel to this town to the right, a place called Charlie. When we click begin, we will begin running to that place. Here we go. If we were to run this at normal speed, the game just told me it would take 4 hours to do. And this green section, this isn't the game. This is one section of the game. Just that section. Daggerfall is huge. Some of you don't understand how...
Daggerfall. I've never even heard of Daggerfall before.
What exciting benefits do you get as a Hertz Gold Plus Rewards member?
You get to skip the line and go right to your car.
Yep, there we go. Looks like the writing team was the hardest hit on both Dragon Age and Mass Effect. So it's looking like BioWare is completely getting rid of the writing team. And look at this. I was a writer at BioWare for 5 years, and I learned a lot during that time from exceptional folks in many disciplines. Okay, well, that's enough. Definitely good decision there.
Wait a moment. Today, not a single one of those writers and editors remains employed there.
And so what's folks? Folks is a weird non-gender binary version way of saying folks. So I think that one of these people was the writer of Tosh. Our BioWare didn't officially put it out that they laid off employees, honestly, which is sad.
They basically ejected the whole writing team the moment the stock cratered, without giving them any notice.
And I said this right from the beginning. Of course this is what would have happened. It's just so dishonest to me. I found out from seeing a staff post that they're gone after many years of working there. You know what they really should have done? They should have come out and said, hey, listen, we know those losers that wrote Veilguard fucked the game up for you guys and nobody liked it. So today we got rid of all of them. We're sorry about that. We're going to try to fix it next time so it doesn't suck again. And I guarantee you, if they had done that, they would have popped the fuck off. People would have loved that.
And that's what I feel like I need to work on, is just like my ability to critique something in a very like adjective ridden mannerism.
Henry Cooper dropped Ali when he was Cassius Clay with a left hook, and they cheated to get him out of the round. Customato cut his gloves, so they had to take his glove off and replace the gloves. They gave him all this recovery time. You ever seen that Henry Cooper fight?
No.
Henry Cooper was a bad man, and he caught Cassius Clay just bam, perfect one. And his like leg, and he's like slumps down to the ropes. He was Dunsville, but it was at the end of the round, and then Angelo Dundee. I mean, that guy had been around the block.
He knows some
like,
stuff.
Let's cut these gloves. See if you can find that, Jamie. Like, watch this. Henry Cooper had a nasty left hook. Look at that, bro.
Yikes.
Look how he's down there.
Yeah,
that's not regular down. So if that's a minute earlier, if he gets hit with that, the whole thing changes. Henry Cooper dropped.
Interesting. I always thought boxing was definitely much more of a show thing anyways. I feel like I'm sure it's physically demanding and everything like that, but boxing is definitely like a trophy sport kind of thing.
They say this is the single greatest shot in all of television history, and I want you to tell me if you agree or not.
Top off the flask, the gases evaporate, you apply a light, and boom! Now, two gases do that better than any other. And it was Obert's assistant who put them together most efficiently. His name was Werner von Braun, and the two gases that he released from his particular version of a thermos flask, the one lying on its side behind me now, were hydrogen and oxygen. If you release those two gases into a confined space with a hole at the other end of it, and mix them as you do so, and then set light to them, you get that. Destination, the moon or Moscow. The planets or Peking.
They say this is the single...
Cool shot, I guess. Cool. Have you guys seen this? I don't know, it's kind of stupid. I'm going to skip it.
The modern face of maritime and the demand for land rights were brought home to the Queen in a nasty way at a children's rally in Auckland. 3 eggs were thrown by 2 girls wearing stewards' white coats. They were quickly seized, but security had failed. 1 egg had hit the windshield and spattered onto the Queen's coat. She mopped herself up as best she could. But there was still a considerable eggy mess left on the coat for the rest of the rally. At the state banquet in Wellington, the Queen was still preoccupied by the egg throwing. After all, it was the first missile ever to make contact in 32 years of travelling.
Of course, New Zealand has also long been renowned
for its dairy produce, though I should say that I myself prefer my New Zealand eggs for breakfast.
So interesting to me that just like the vast difference of lives that people live. It's just like you see somebody like that and they live like such a vastly different like
They're
reality.
showing Antarctica as an ice wall.
I know I already talked about this guy and that stupid fucking hat. And at this point, I feel like he's just got to be taking the piss. I don't really care if he believes it or not, because he's saying it to people who do believe it, so I'm gonna debunk it anyway.
This is called the Hammond map from 1933, and you can research this.
Ooh, rookie mistake. Don't ever tell people to research things as a conspiracy theorist, because then they will, and they'll see that you're wrong. I wonder why you cropped the map like that. Probably because its full name is Hammond's Air Age Map of the World. Map projection designed specifically to show...
The only way to get to this guy is to like say like free will doesn't exist and the world is chaos and emotion exists, which means that everything is sort of out of control. And basically, you don't have to try and prove
flight
God
times
to
between
him,
major
but...
cities. Why it's got all these red lines all over it. Didn't think I'd have to explain this, but apparently with this guy here, I do. The world is almost a perfect sphere. Really hard to project the surface of a sphere onto a flat surface, which is why we've come up with so many bizarre map projections that focus on not distorting certain parts of the world. Since a majority of people live in the northern...
what's up, Presley? This is just the morning news. I'm just getting up and going over all the news posts that come up on my YouTube channel. Just looking at everything. This guy right here like debunks like conspiracies and stuff.
Northern Hemisphere, it makes sense to make a flight map that shows most of the Northern Hemisphere less distorted than Antarctica, where nobody lives. But yeah, no, the elites are hiding the ice wall from us, and the only place it exists is in this one air travel map from 1930.
They're showing Antarctica.
Yeah, well, my big thing about all that is, like, listen, if there was some big secret, it's like, nobody can keep a secret like that. Like, you really think that, like, everybody's trying to keep a secret from you? Like, there's no way they could keep that secret. But yeah, I'm just doing news stuff. Just, you know, woke up, rolled out of bed. Like, my hair's still a mess. But I kind of feel like it adds to the whole thing. But yeah, we're just watching, like, clips.
Stop, 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 stop. Stop, stop, stop. Hold on, turn all the lights up. Turn all the lights up. It's not good? Too many people? You need some water? Okay, we're gonna stop, we're gonna fix it. Everybody over here, just take one step back on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. One step back, okay? Perfecto. Okay? Yes, we're gonna get them out. There's somebody right there who needs to get out. It's okay. Everybody okay out there? You remember, if somebody falls down, what do? Pick them up, right? Somebody falls down, what do? You pick them up, okay? That's why God invented crowd surfing. You remember crowd surfing? If you get a little hot, you just ask somebody to pick you up and we'll get you out of there. You okay on the left?
I've been to a rave before. I think it was like Kid Cudi was there, and he had to stop the concert as well. And I knew the guy that was like causing all the problems too. Reload this. Oh yeah, if you do shorts, it doesn't. You don't click on them.
The mountain archery is so insane. They had the ability to hang off the side of the horse, so they would shoot from under the horse's neck. So they were completely defended by the horse, and they were shooting arrows, and their bows were 160 pounds. So you had to be insane. They said that a lot of the skeletons they find from that era, their bones are deformed because your whole body has just been pulling 160 pounds with your right arm or your left arm, like your whole life. So your right side is like insanely muscled, and your bones are all twisted and thicker and denser tendons and everything.
Crazy. What a crazy time to be alive.
SpaceX was fined by the EPA $140,000 for dumping drinking water from the ground. This is at Starbase, and we're in a tropical thunderstorm region. That stuff comes from the sky all the time. And there was no actual harm done. You know, it was just water to cool the launch pad during liftoff. There's zero harm done. Like, and they agree, yes, there's zero harm done. We're like, okay, so there's no harm done, but you want us to pay a $140,000 fine? It's like, yes, because you didn't have a permit. Okay. We didn't know there was a permit needed for zero harm fresh water being on the ground in a place where fresh water falls from the sky all the time. I mean, sometimes it rains so much, the roads are flooded. So we're like, how does this make any sense? They were like, well, we're not going to process any more of your applications for launch, for Starship launch, unless you pay this $140,000. So they just ransomed us. And we're like, okay, so we paid $140,000. But it's like, this is no good. I mean, at this rate, we're never going to get to Mars.
He has a way of managing all these companies is what I'll say, but bro, this kid.
You guys are not going to believe this, which is good because it's not true. Every time I see this fun fact, a little bit of my soul dies. It goes like this. The number for the speed of light is the same coordinates as the pyramids of Giza. I don't know what kind of crack these people are smoking. Considering this is one of my favorite examples of the collective aneurysm that is pseudo-archaeology, I thought I would talk about it and all of its faults. Riddle me this. His argument hinges on the speed of light being 299 million meters per second. You could say, whoa, well, how'd the Egyptians figure out what the speed of light was? And that would be very astute of you. The thing that I think is even more shocking about this is the implication that ancient Egyptians used the metric system. Do you not think that the aliens that built the pyramids would have used something else? Does the entire fucking universe use the metric system while America's still using imperial? Secondly, this is not a coordinate, that is a latitude line. It means that this is one band that runs all the way around the planet. Thirdly, it doesn't actually run through the pyramids, it runs next to them. If that's enough evidence for you, ooh, they must have also built Jacksonville, Florida. If you know someone who believes this, please refer them to a psychologist.
Yeah, his mustaches definitely looks a little weak for sure. I agree with that. But definitely needs to work on his mustache. But he's all over the YouTube now. He's like a huge, he's famous. Definitely. And all he does is just comment on conspiracy videos. Basic stuff. People love him.
Who's the biggest rock star of all time? Well, this video clip right here proves that it's not who you think it is. Let me explain. I think the biggest rock star of all time is Keith Moon, the drummer from The Who. His personality, his playing, his excess were all legendary. And some of the stories about him are crazy. Like when they were first starting out, he played his drums so hard that he had to tie them to pillars around the venue with ropes so they wouldn't move. He drove a car into a pool to escape the police in Flint, Michigan. He used to throw furniture out of hotel windows, got arrested for blowing up toilets with cherry bombs. But the most legendary rock star moment for Keith Moon was when they were featured guest on the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour. It was a television variety show that had agreed to let them destroy their instruments like they did at every show. But he took that way too far. He took...
They must have amnesia. They forgot that I'm him.
My thing clicked away. Anyways, Keith Moon, I guess, is the biggest rock star ever. What does Neil deGrasse Tyson have to say?
Look at what's going on with the Himalayas. I mean, it's the human shit they leave behind there. There's tons of it. Tons of human waste.
If it's still not a problem that people are climbing, it's that they're leaving waste. You don't stop the climbers, you tax them at some level so that now you have cleanup crews that come up after them.
Yeah, but it's
there's solutions. But there's solutions.
You know it's incredibly difficult to bring anything back.
Good. So you tax them, you make it worth it. When they invented cars and cars.
Moon is a legend. Yeah, I've never, I mean, I've listened to The Who, but I never really knew who Keith Moon was, but...
We're killing people in the street because people don't know how to cross the street. People don't know how to stop the cars. They say, well, cars are actually a pretty useful thing. Do we ban cars? No, we make stoplights. Oh, people are crossing. Well, we make crosswalks. Oh, let's put lanes so that cars don't hit each other. And let's make airbags so that you don't fly through the windshield. So there are ways around problems if you value the thing that it is that you want to do. So if people are leaving crap up there, you make them bring it back. Or you...
Yeah. I've heard that for a long time, that Mount Everest is just full of shit. It's a rich man's mountain anyways. Ooh, the pirates. Oh, jeez. Oh my gosh. Are you guys seeing this? Oh, okay, we just watched somebody die. Holy cow. His nickname was Moon the Loon, was crazy but a great drummer. Yeah, that's cool. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, I've never heard that before, but I guess obviously a lot of people have. I mean, I listened to The Who and The Doors and those bands and stuff, but wait until you guys see this video, though. You know? Like, this one's crazy. It's like I think they just killed people on camera. And look at the name of the channel, Powerboat Training. Powerboat Training. But it's like we just saw a bunch of people on a like transport ship kill people. What the hell? I'm surprised that came up on my feed.
1,000 to 10,000 people was the lowest the human population has ever been 70,000 years ago, when we were almost completely wiped off the map. And I promise, you do not understand just how insane this was. 195,000 years ago, a period of cold and dry conditions called marine isotope stage 6 began. This period brought a massive drought across Africa, making the vast majority of the continent uninhabitable. Meanwhile, a supergiant volcanic eruption took place in Indonesia, triggering a global cooling event. The ash from the eruption blacked out the sky, plunging the Earth into another ice age, and this wiped out nearly everybody. And it was the closest that the human species has ever been to complete extinction. We were down to about 1,000 reproductive adults, and some say that it was as low as 40 breeding pairs on the entire planet. And today, every single living person on this planet is a descendant of that small group of survivors. 1,000 to...
I've heard that before. Should I really put on Hasanabi? Let's reload this bad boy. Play it again? You want me to play that pirate one again? I think I just you can click back and rewind it if you want. Or I can try and find it again. Here it is.
Yeah, it's fucking unmanned.
Yeah, pirates still exist, but the glamour behind pirates, I feel like, is done and gone away with.
So a lot of the people are trying to tell me that the pyramids weren't built under the sand and that that's a crazy idea.
People are calling you crazy for thinking the Great Pyramid was built underneath 450 feet of sand? Yeah, I agree with you, actually. That's not crazy. That's batshit fucking insane is what that is.
So why did they only put gold at the top of the pyramid?
There is not a single person who knows what the capstone of the Great Pyramid was, or even if there was one. Who knows, maybe it was gold. And if it was, then maybe they clad the whole pyramid.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? Like, for sure, that's completely crazy. But yeah, pirates still exist, especially like around Africa and the Middle East. If you like are running your ships through there, you have to have like deterrent measures and stuff like that. They'll even like hijack you with like helicopters and stuff.
Pyramid in it, and it was all stolen. Considering you don't cite how you know what was on top of the Great Pyramid, I'm gonna assume you just pulled it directly out of your ass.
Because the gold tip was the only thing showing above the sand.
Have you ever touched sand? Parents ever bring you to a beach as a kid? You know, you dig in the sand, you try and dig a tunnel, and it immediately collapses in on itself. Why would you ever build something 400 feet tall with a 750 foot wide base underneath sand? Could you guys
I gotta work on being just like a dick or like an asshole. Because I feel like all these guys are just like assholes to other people or whatever that are like really popular, you know what I mean? They're just like assholes.
I was doing this scene in this Kevin James movie. I haven't ridden a bike since I was a kid. I don't know how to ride bikes anymore.
Yeah.
And in this scene, me and Kevin James are chasing each other, and I'm whipping him with this this antenna or something like that, a flag.
Mhm.
And as I'm hitting him with this stick with the flag, I hit the brakes. And I hit the front brake.
Oh.
It's my left hand. I go woo, over the top. There's like a loop reel. You could see me flying off the bike. Yeah, it felt like 3 times.
Oh my God, Joe!
That was the bad one.
Joe!
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Your face goes into it.
Yeah.
Wow, you come right up.
Dude, there's a couple of them. That was only one. One of them, I went and I flew off to the left and rolled in this like grass hillside. I like wiped hard. I was
funny. See what he says. Let's see what Elon says
You want to
about
be careful
war.
of one of those things where you wish for something that sounds good, but if you get it, it's actually a dystopian situation. Hypothesis of like if you wish for world peace, sounds good, but how is it enforced? At what cost? Eternal peace. It might actually be worse to have eternal peace because of what that would entail. The suppression of everyone. It might be the suppression of progress. It might be an ossified society that never changes. What I'm saying is that there is an argument. If you wish for no war, you should be careful what you wish for. Because what's required in order for there to be no war might be worse than a little war.
No conflict, no progress. Humanity thrives on overcoming challenges, not eliminating them.
I feel like my problem is just I get too much into philosophy and just like, yeah, well, what is war a metaphor for? Is it just like, you know, is the world something that is just black and white, or does it represent, you know, some greater idea in the
If I
fight?
make a car and I want you to buy my car, I need a road. So I'm going to build the road. Oh, wait a minute. I convinced you to build the road. That's even better. Oh my gosh, I made it a national priority. Oh, it's a security problem. We need a military design interstate system. That's why it goes through mountains instead of over them. That's why there are long stretches of straightaways so you can land an airplane on it. That's why they're built above the road. That's why the surface roads are not the same thing as highways, because the highways are not on the surface. Why? Because they're built up. Why? Because tanks can drive on them without decomposing the road. What specs did we put this to? To the Autobahn. The Germans invented the modern highway system. They invented the cloverleaf. They invented the off-ramps. They invented all of that. And their armies could move on their roads like it was nobody's business. And Eisenhower said, hey, get me some of that. That's probably not how he said it, I'm guessing. But he comes on, convinces us all that we need to build an interstate. I got nothing against the interstate system. I'm just giving you the foundational facts for it. And by the way,
Like, you know, I'm like pretty far off base. I can like believe, oh yeah, the world began like in the moment kind of thing, which means it never began at all, almost. Or war is just the idea of like
painting that AI could never create. It's The Governesses of the Almshouse by Dutch painter Frans Hals, which shows 5 wealthy ladies who ran a public charity in Haarlem. Now, you could ask an AI to make a realistic painting of 5 old Dutch women and get something similar, but what this one lacks is drama. Frans Hals was one of the first to capture realistic and lively facial expressions, but he was also totally broke, and he depended on these wealthy old ladies to keep a roof over his head. And if you look at how he paints them, would you guess that he likes them or resents them? Of course, they're not going to buy the painting if they don't like it, but do his real feelings slip in a little bit? So there's an aesthetic tension here between the light and the dark, but a lot of the intrigue of this painting comes from the tension between the painter and the world. AI can pump out a street scene and the visual style of Van Gogh, but what it doesn't have is a real relationship to society that makes it interesting.
Okay, so it can't represent a story. Got it.
These might be the remains of a 17th century vampire. The burial discovered in Poland are of an apparent 18-year-old woman, believed to have been feared by her community and buried in such a way as to prevent her reanimation. Her accusers laid her to rest and placed a sickle over her neck and a padlock over her left big toe. The padlock was believed to keep the woman's good soul in her body and prevent the bad soul from reanimating the corpse. Archaeologists also found fragments of a silk bonnet and the remains of a gold brocade ribbon, hinting at her origins in nobility.
She's rich.
Based on samples of her DNA, researchers were also able to recreate her likely appearance. But what was it that caused such a panic within her community that led them to go to such lengths to prevent her reanimation? A skeletal examination revealed she suffered from painful cancer in her sternum and Klein-Kimmerle's anomaly, a condition that can cause headaches and sudden fainting. Perhaps they believed her sickness to be the symptoms of an evil soul trapped in her body, or maybe a sickle and padlock were just cheaper than healthcare in the 1700s. If you like science and fear vampires, follow for more.
If you like science and fear vampires, follow for more. Please. Give us a follow.
It's almost better to me that it's this explicit. Like, I feel like now we have a number on what this type of crony capitalism looks like. Elon gave $270 million to get Donald Trump elected. He made, after the election, I think something like $200 billion. So now we have a number on it. We know what their access to government is worth. Is that transparency better for us to even know? Can we do anything about it if we don't even know?
Well, I think you make a good point. It's better that we know and that it not be happening sub rosa and, you know, in whispers that we can't really define in any way. It's all cards on the table now, and it's almost like it's being rubbed in our faces.
It's almost...
I think my aversion to, like, dealing with circumstances in a practical matter relates to my just feeling so out of control in my life anyway. So I just create these paradigms where it just is all basically, you know, like everything is just the sun rising and falling. If we try to like reach the sun or try to understand it, then we feel like the sun is no longer giving life, but it's taking life away because it represents time or something, and the day. Just stuff like that. But probably because I've had to deal with having to or wanting to like deal with situations in reality.
When you see cocaine in movies, it's normally vitamin B powder or or cocaine. No. Or if you're not going to actually be ingesting it, it might be icing sugar.
In Wolf of Wall Street, I got bronchitis for 3 weeks. I had to be
Seriously?
hospitalized. Yeah.
What is fake cocaine?
It's vitamin powder. We were just literally doing fake coke for like 7 months every day. I never had more vitamin D in my entire life. I think I could have lifted a car over my fucking head.
I might be breaking the law now, but I'll say it. The character I played chips cocaine. And I always thought that was a choice we made, but yet not showing it. But there is a scene in it, which we never got into the film. And I've always wanted to say sometimes, just so you know where some of the behavior's coming from.
When you see cocaine...
Huh. He actually did it, is what he's saying. Do you believe in dragons?
Dinosaurs never existed and
I'm all ears. Just let's just hear it.
actually found real dragon bones from other creatures that were actually in the Bible.
You don't believe in dinosaurs, but you believe in dragons. No, that takes balls. I actually respect the hell out of that. Let's listen to this next part really carefully, because my job has been debunking conspiracies for almost 3 years now. But what you're about to hear might be one of the most flawed trains of logic I've ever heard for anything, maybe ever.
Original scientist that started giving these names to dinosaur bones. He was making up every single name as he went along.
Where do you think names come from? Every single thing has a name that we just made up for it. When you were born, did you have a name, or did somebody pick one for you? Follow-up question, do you exist? Mainstream science wants you to believe that every dinosaur had a little name tag when we found it. We just had to make up the names? That proves it. Dinosaurs can't exist.
Dinosaurs never existed and
I'm all ears.
There you have it. Dinosaurs are not real. It's a troll. Dinosaurs are a troll by Satan. This is what my YouTube feed looks like, though, guys.
A collaboration of scientists just published a paper warning us about creating mirror life on Earth. Think the petri dish version of the Upside Down. Many biomolecules have right or left-handed versions. Billions of years ago, a handful of these molecules started replicating, and all life branched out from that early template, retaining the same structural orientation. That's why all DNA on Earth is right-handed, while all proteins use left-handed amino acids.
Well, if it isn't a leftorium.
Now imagine flipping that orientation. In the lab, we can create mirror versions of these life-building blocks, a mirror image of the tree of life. This isn't without danger. Take thalidomide. The right-handed version is a sedative, but when manufacturers accidentally produce the left-handed version, it caused tens of thousands of catastrophic birth defects. On one side, harnessing this mirrored chemistry might yield breakthroughs in medicine or devastate life. The question we have to ask ourselves is, are we really ready to rock out in the Upside Down? Even though
I feel like that's a very dramatic conclusion, but I had to learn about that in chemistry.
This theory, ancient civilizations actually had contact with each other across the world. Ancient civilizations all had contact with each other across the world.
Let's just take it down a notch. You're shaking like you just discovered atomic theory. It's really not that serious.
There are pyramids in 5 continents.
I don't hear people say this enough. A pyramid is a modern architectural category. It's like saying a house or a skyscraper. Different civilizations didn't set out to build a pyramid. They set out to build religious centers, burial structures, and temples. That there's pyramids all over the world is good evidence, are solely looking at it through a modern lens.
With similarities that don't make any sense.
Look at how different all of these structures are. Vary about as much as is humanly possible when you're building a 4-sided structure out of dirt and rocks. Challenge you to come up with a design feature that isn't present somewhere up here.
It's 3-window structure. Have you ever seen the photo of the Last Supper?
Truly envy the mind of
I'll do you guys one bigger. Everything is connected.
conspiracy theorists.
Everything
Convince
is
yourself
connected.
that you have your third eye open and that you're seeing what they don't want you to see, and have this be enough evidence for you. Random bullshit regurgitated from somebody else's TikTok.
It's gotta be interesting to be like popular but normal at the same time. Soviet Union. What else we got? CIA reacts to Rainbolt.
As a former CIA officer, I was blessed to work with some amazing guys who had incredible tech skills. And so somebody sent me an email and said, hey, have you heard of this guy called Rainbolt? I have not. I have no idea who he is. I've never seen his video. The title of the video is Finding the CAPTCHA in 3 minutes.
And I came across this CAPTCHA randomly in the wild about 10 minutes ago. And I was like, I could probably find this exact apartment or building in the back in under 3 minutes. So I'm gonna test myself and speedrun how fast I think I can find this exact road. Immediately just looking at this image, I was like, okay, this is probably just Copenhagen, but there's a lot of roads in Copenhagen. But I'm gonna see if I can find this.
So he's done his good research about where the pictures come from. That is certainly smart.
Go.
All right, so now he's setting his timer to see how fast he can do it.
Copenhagen bus on that bus stop right here. Good images. And okay.
And this just shows the beauty of the internet age that we live in, that if you need to identify Copenhagen bus, all you got to do is go Google it.
So I can click building 4-story public transport stop. And we need to go to Copenhagen. And I think this is a good enough area of Copenhagen. And then it's just going to search and only show me dots on the map where there's a public transport stop within a 4-story building. And now we can see that this is a red light right here, and there's a 4-way intersection with.
He's doing a great job. He's certainly smart.
That doesn't make sense. There's no curve. 4-way stop with a curve.
And of course, all the maps we have these days, all the satellite imagery, Google Maps, just shows how easy it is to track down people.
I really thought I could do this in under 3 minutes.
He's at 2:05, so we'll see.
Oh, this looks good. Why does this look really good? These houses right here, like this looks similar, but it's not quite it. This is it, surely, right? Wait. Yep, okay.
All right, so he did it in 3 minutes and 7 seconds, and he's good. I mean, this young man is savvy, he's quick, he obviously knows how to use a computer. Somebody showed me some comments like, hey, should he work for the CIA or does he work for the CIA? When I joined the agency, I was making $36,000 a year. So with his skills, he's probably making a heck of a lot more money, and he could probably easily go get a job with various big tech people. So maybe he wants to work for a government, and I wanted to serve and do all that kind of stuff. But if he's looking to make money, he's not going to want to work for the agency. So what that proves to you is what we already know, is with all the satellites, with all the
They are impressed, so to speak. Well, alright guys. I might call that a morning. We can click on news maybe. I said this was going to be news, but all we looked at mostly was just like recommended stuff on my channel's recommendations. China fires back. China. Trump tariffs, plane crash, immigrants, ICE. Elon Musk given a new title.
And the White House says Elon Musk has been designated what they're calling a special government employee. He is set to lead the Department of Government Efficiency, and the president has said that Musk will not act without White House approval. Well, Senate Democrats are sounding off on the tech billionaire following reports that he gained access to the U.S. Treasury Department's federal payment system.
All right, though, guys, I think I'm going to call that for the morning news. I usually just kind of browse around and see what's going on. Just catch up, get a little bit of a feeling for the day. Kind of where it's going, Google's trying to predict me, so I can try to use it as maybe some direction as to what I got going on, where are my interests really, and what the day should be like, So anyways, thanks, Presley, for stopping by. Thanks for everyone else who stopped by, but I'll see you guys later today.